AutoCAD Stretch Command. In AutoCAD, how to use stretch command. In this video lecture, we will learn how to use stretch command in AutoCAD. Stretch command is really an important command for modification in a plan. If you want to modify your plan, you can modify it simply with the help of stretch command instead of deleting different elements and then redrawing it. So to use stretch command, type S and enter, and then AutoCAD will ask you in command line to select objects, and the selection of object is very important in stretch command. The main thing in stretch command is you have to understand two concepts regarding the stretch command implementation. For example, here I have this line and I want to stretch this line up to some point. So if I want to stretch this line from this point and I do not want to stretch this other side point, so type S and enter, and I will select this side of a line and then type enter, and then I will specify displacement or pick point, and then I will move my mouse pointer in my required direction, and make sure you have on your ortho on mode so that your stretching object should be stretched straight in your required mouse direction movement, and then type your required length. For example, I want to stretch this line up to 5 feet. Okay, if an object is completely selected in my stretch command, for example S enter, I perform my selection, and in my selection complete object is selected, and those objects that are completely selected in my stretch command, they are going to be moved, not stretched, and those objects which are selected as some portion of that object, those objects are going to be stretched. So keeping in mind these two concepts, we will use this command on this small plane. For example, I want to increase my internal space or increase my space internally 20 feet, as I have asked, as the requirement was to create a room for 20 by 20 feet room, X and Y width. So here I am going to type S and enter and perform my selection. In this selection, you can clearly see those objects that are completely selected will be moved, and those objects that and for those objects which are selected partially and the portion of that object is not being selected, meaning to say that some points are not being completely selected of that object, so those objects are going to be stretched, and those objects that are completely selected are going to be moved. Then press enter and then specify pick point or base point, and move your mouse pointer in the required direction and type the required distance of your object to be stretched. For example, I want to stretch this room in Y axis 1 feet 6 inches, and enter. Now you can clearly see the internal space has been readjusted, and the space is now correctly being displayed as a 20 feet. Now I want to change the space in X-axis. I will similarly perform the same task again, but now on the X-axis direction. I will type S and enter for stretch command. Then after that, perform your selection, and then press enter and click on any required point or displacement point, and then again move your mouse pointer in your required direction, and then type the length which you want to modify, 1 feet 6 inches. The same command I am now going to implement on this simple plan. First of all, I am going to explode all the plan, as this plan was submitted by a student and he mainly created using polyline. So I am going to first of all explode this polyline into simple line by using X command. So now I'm going to implement this stretch command on this plan. So in this situation, I want this kitchen to be stretched, or the space in this plan of for a kitchen area needs to be 12 feet. So for that I will type S and then I will perform my selection, keeping in mind the complete selection process of stretch command. In this scenario, where I am selecting is those objects that are being completely selected will move, and those objects that are partially or portion of the that object are selected will be stretched. But in this situation, I have also selected these lines that I do not want to be stretched or moved. If I continue my command, and I will press and I press enter, and then I click on this point and move on my mouse pointer in the required direction, then you can clearly see that those lines are displaced in not correctly manner. So to correct this, you have to perform these steps again, but with one point. Considering it in your mind, type S enter, perform your selection. Now after specifying the area, and in this situation, if I want to remove some objects from my selection, now I will press shift button from my keyboard and then click on those objects which I do not want to be stretched or moved. Just select that, and those objects will be removed. And then after that, press enter and click on my pick point and move your mouse pointer in the required direction, and then type 1 feet. Now you can clearly see I have changed my y-axis space of kitchen, and that you can clearly see it is now 12 feet instead of 11 feet. Now again, I am going to experiment on the same command with the help of stretch command. I want to modify the internal space of this bedroom, as it has a 16 feet y-axis width that is greater than the required by the client. So I'm going to modify this space, and after modifying the space, I think that the space in the dining will also be increased, and it will look better than in currently situations. I will type S enter and perform my selection, and then press enter. Now the main thing is our selection, how you are performing your selection. Click on the pick point and move your mouse pointer in the required direction, and type 2 feet. I'll just decrease this space to 2 feet in y-axis, and now let's check it out, that whether our space has been adjusted or not. DLI enter, click on one point, another point, and now you can clearly see that our y-axis space of this bedroom is 12 feet, and x-axis space is not been modified, so it is the same as represented in this text. So at the end, I will also implement the stretch command on this bathroom. So in AutoCAD Stretch Command, let's type again S enter, perform your selection at the bottom of your required area, and you can clearly see those objects that are been completely selected inside our selection. Those objects are going to be moved, and those objects that are partially selected, or the portion, or we can say some portion of that object are selected, and you can see that they are going to be stretched in my required direction. I will press enter and then specify a pick point or base point, and after that I will move in negative y-axis and will type 1 feet. Enter. Let's check it out. Or y-axis space, and now you can clearly see it is 6 feet. So this is for today's video. See you in next video.